professionals tell us that that an ex-addict can certainly relate to his patient a lot more than a person who is not an ex-addict. And so we're still investigating that. We realize that we have a high-risk type of personnel when we do have that program, and yet if we take a person off of heroin and rehabilitate him but won't hire him, it's going to be difficult for us to suggest for other employers to hire an ex-addict.
Preferences to a team?
No, not really. I'd like to play wherever we get a chance to.
One time, then I think you'll remember and you'll get it. Can you? Huh? All right, I'll say it. Listen. It's Préstame los colores, por favor. That por favor at the end means what? Thank you. No. Galen, and look at me, okay? You'll have to look at me. All right. It's a word I want you to listen to. Look at me. Use a glass, quickly. Okay? Would you like to do it? Oh, I don't.
At times it was hard, especially when we had a late workout and late meetings at night, and the next day we had a test at 8 o'clock in the morning. It got tough sometimes. At midnight hour was burning.
You've also gotten a lot of support from some other people. Would you mention some of them?
Well, I guess my wife is the main one. She's stuck with me through all this football and everything. It was hard on her because I was gone a lot, and she didn't see me much during the football season. Then when I did get home, it was time for me to study.
Robert, there's been a lot of controversy and a lot said in the last few days over Coach Hayden Fry's dismissal. What are your feelings about that?
Well, I'm very sad what happened. To me, he's the greatest football coach around, a great man, will do anything for you, and I'm just sad that they fired him, and the way they went about firing him made it that much worse, and it just made me sad. I just don't know. I can't understand the reasons they give. I've heard of many reasons, but none of them are unfounded, called for, so I don't know what to say. I'm just sad that it happened. He's a great man.
Ladies and gentlemen, from North Augusta, South Carolina, 4 years of college at Clemson, in the warm weather city of Dallas, Charlie Waters. I don't recognize you somehow.
You're not intended to. I'm just out here to try to stay warm today.
Does the get-up help?
Yeah, but I'm still freezing.
You know, Charlie, we keep talking about guys staring other guys down. You'd scare the life out of somebody if you lined up and bumped and run with them in that get-up.
I guarantee you I'll be a lot warmer than they will be, though, when I get out there today.
If it's this cold Saturday, will you use this kind of a thing?
I don't know. I didn't play in the Green Bay game, but I guarantee if I had something like that, these guys had something like this, it'd help them a little bit.
Freeze your eyeballs.
Yeah, but you got to keep your eyes open.
Okay. Well, why do you have your mouth uncovered then?
Because I got to keep my mouth running too.
just to keep warm.
Yeah.
Well, keep it running and talk a little bit about Washington. How big is this particular game for you?
I think it's a super big game for us. You know, I think we win one out of the next two, we'll be in the playoffs. But I hope it's this one that we win, because the guys, I tell you, we really want to win this game. We just got to prove to people that we can beat Washington, and they're not the super ball club that everybody puts them up to be. I think we can beat them, and we got to keep our momentum going. So when we hit that playoffs, we'll be, at our peak.
You've had several good games since you got in the starting lineup. It appears to us. Do you feel comfortable with that position now at cornerback?
I feel, let's put it this way, more comfortable. I don't feel as comfortable as I would be at safety, let's say, but I feel better than I did when I first started in the San Diego game.
Well, it's good to have you in the starting lineup for Dallas. You could be in Minnesota right now.
Minnesota's what? Chill factor's minus 54?
As I drove toward the school administration complex on West Lancaster, I was pondering the note from my file this morning. It said the Fort Worth Parent Teachers Associations were gathering to learn more about the bilingual education program. I've had some experience with the topic, so I felt pretty confident as I began plotting exactly how I'd tell you the story tonight. Shouldn't be hard. Some little Mexican-American kids whose primary language is Spanish would be showing how they'd gotten special help in learning to speak English and function in English-speaking classrooms. Then, as cameramen Reggie Ward and Vic Doobie were preparing for the filming, I looked at the stage and got the shock of the morning. There wasn't a brown kid up there. A couple of other colors, but no brown. The program must have changed, I thought. Better check this out. And with that, friends, I learned the most valuable lesson of anybody who attended today. There I was, just presuming that bilingual education means helping kids who speak Spanish to learn English.
And I have here a piece of chalk, and John, can you tell us? La pizza, you got to speak out real loud. La pizza, everybody.
La pizza.
Todos otra vez.
La pizza.
Muy bien, la pizza, las tijeras, el libro, los colores, los bloques, and I have here some paste. No. Okay, and what is the paste, everybody?
La goma.
La goma, right, la goma, la tijera, la pizza.
What more can I say? I learned a lesson today. Jerry Taft, Channel 8 News, Fort Worth.
It was 23 degrees with a brisk wind outside the Fairmont this morning, but that didn't keep Dr. Carl McIntire and his International Council of Christian Churches from picketing the National Council of Churches meeting. The International Council violently disagrees with the political and religious positions of the National Council, and representatives show up at just about every National Council meeting. I pulled Dr. McIntire out of the picket line long enough this morning to ask him what he...
There are 43 million people that are in the organization of this National Council of Churches. We want to see it dismantled. We want to see a great movement in this country to return to the Christian religion, a reformation, a revival, and the preservation of our free enterprise system. That's what we want, and that's what we're fighting for today.
Are you having any effect?
I think we are. I think we've had something to do with the fact that they're reorganizing themselves.
Here inside the hotel this afternoon, everything was much warmer, except the arguments. With very few proposed amendments, the National Council of Churches General Assembly dissolved itself and agreed that the new governing body will be a smaller group than the 800 who met here this week. The new group will also meet more often, twice a year instead of every 3 years. Phil Reynolds, Channel 8 News on the Move at the National Council of Churches.
Joint action programs, projects.
Okay, basically, from the residential point of view, residential phone users have had to bear a disproportionate burden of the increase both this year and in 1970, and we feel that it should be equalized. The top that the phone company should be considering is a $7 rate for home phones rather than $7.50.
On the miscellaneous service, as compared to the increase on basic service as a total package. Of course, within basic service, we recommend
Right here?
Yeah.
Oh, just a few more minutes. We said we'd go to 11:30.
Yeah. How long are you personally going to be in town?
Well, I came to stay for the convention.
were distributed. Was it might be taken now on that third amendment?
My understanding is that that is a minimum eligibility. It doesn't mean that
the union would not be in less than good standing if it didn't name all.
That's your statement. That's great. That's a good thing.
Recommendation number 4, that might prevail and probably will prevail. We think that this rectifies it.
Public policy may need to be looked into, but also they generally doubt that an increase is in order.
The profit off the frosting.
Well, in some cases, the telephone company.
You know, I mean, in some of these questions that you know, have been more or less.
And what we're really talking about today is telephone service. And good telephone service for customers is directly tied to good earnings. We must have increased earnings to meet the growth everyone predicts in Dallas. Somehow we must make everyone understand that fair and equitable rates are essential to providing good service and are not just a means of enriching the telephone company.
Mr. Gilmore, does the board of directors of